You're listening to School Counseling Simplified, a podcast with easy-to-implement strategies for busy school counselors. Here's your host, Rachel Davis from Bright Futures Counseling.
Do you ever have a kiddo pop into your office last minute and you need an activity to do quickly? Or do you ever wish you had access to hundreds of school counseling resources at your fingertips? Well, my Impact School Counselor membership is for you. Inside Impact, you get access to hundreds of resources sorted by topic, tier, season, or monthly lesson plans. Simply log on, find what you need, download it, and use it with your students right away. You also get access to our community where you can meet like-minded school counselors to troubleshoot tough cases, get inspired, and collaborate with your colleagues. Not only that, we also know how important it is to stay on top of your professional development. That's why we offer live quarterly trainings on hot topics that you need most. Impact is designed to make your counseling life easier. I know you're super busy. That's why I've made it super simple to access everything you need in one place. This way you can spend your time and energy doing what you love the most, helping kiddos. If you're looking for a one-stop shop for all of your counseling needs so you don't have to worry about searching on different sites, paying for things here and there, you can find everything you need on demand in one place in Impact. Head over to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/impact to watch a sneak peek video behind the scenes of what all is included in the membership. Again, that's stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/impact to get started today. I can't wait to help you make an impact. Hey there, thanks for listening to another episode of School Counseling Simplified. So today I interview a school counselor, Jessica, who is also one of my Impact members. This year in 2023, I've decided to interview real counselors just like you once a month so we can find out what they're implementing at their schools in order to feel inspired. Jessica and I chat about how she's reaching students through all three tiers, her class lessons, small groups, and individual kiddos. And we also talk about some advice she has for first-year school counselors and something that she's been focusing on this year that has made all the difference with a big caseload. Okay, I think you guys are going to love this episode. Let's go to it. Hey, Jessica, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Rachel?
I'm doing good. I will go ahead and note for the audio for everyone that they may hear little baby noises in the background. So I'm still trying to manage that, like, no childcare, working but not working life. But I think a lot of people can relate.
Yeah, that's a lot to handle.
Yeah, so we have a nanny, but she usually is with our older son. So I'm still trying to navigate what to do now that we have two. But
yeah.
Anyways, I am so happy to have you here. As this year, 2023, on the podcast, I want to start talking to more counselors who are in the classroom, like boots on the ground with kiddos, because as listeners know, I'm not in the classroom right now, but I, totally want to stay in touch with what's going on and hear from you guys. So you, Jessica, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you work, and all those things.
So I am Jessica Weinberg, and I am an elementary school counselor in California on the Central Coast. I am the only counselor at my school. I actually just checked our enrollment the other day, and so it's me with 570 students. So I am very, very busy. And yeah, I just try to make sure I'm hitting all three tiers, which is tricky, but I try my best.
Yes, I love it. And this is how many years for you? Second?
This is my third year. I actually started in the middle of the year in January. So like a couple of days ago was my third year anniversary. So.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
I love it. Yes. And that caseload is crazy. I saw ASCA put out the thing the other day of like, they're recommended, I think it's 250 to 1. And then add all of the states. And I think it was only like 2 states made the cut of having within the limit. So crazy. Definitely in need for more counselors. So tell us what your plans are. So you go back to school tomorrow when we're recording this. So this will put out a little later in the month. I guess you'll already be back in school. But what are your plans for second semester?
Yeah, so we do go back tomorrow, and for this month, I actually just finished prepping the lessons that I'm going to do this month. So for my little ones, I'm actually using your Little Monster series with them, and so they will be meeting Fangle next month, and they met Lenny last month, and they're all like super excited about it. And even the ones I did last year, those students are still like, do you have an extra coloring sheet for me? And so they love it. So we'll be working on following directions. And then my middle grades will be doing a gratitude lesson to talk about what they are grateful for and something that they look forward to in the coming year. And then my 4th and 5th graders will be doing kind of a New Year thing called looking back and looking forward. So kind of looking back at the last year, what went well, what didn't, and then what they would like to do in the coming year, maybe keeping things the same or changing anything.
Oh, I love that. Those sound like some great lessons. Yeah, I love the fun little monsters, anything to try to keep the little ones engaged, right?
Yes.
Yes. And then you said you're doing the like goal setting, looking forward and back. Oh, and then gratitude. I like that you're doing that in January. That's good. A lot of times people feel limited just to only do that around like Thanksgiving, but I love starting the new year with like a grateful mindset. You also said you're doing following directions, which I totally encourage counselors to do that this time of year. I feel like back to school after a break is a great time to review following directions.
Yes. And I know my kinder teachers are already like, we definitely need that. Thank you.
For sure. For sure. Now, what about groups? Are you running groups or how many do you have going right now?
I am running groups. So I have a friendship group running currently that I think I have 6 groups doing the same curriculum, but I have a pretty small office, so I have to make lots of small groups. And I have the same curriculum, another group starting up when we go back. And then I'm also going to start up a friendship group for our kinder students because they've been struggling with that as well. So mostly friendship right now. I would love to branch out and do some other groups, but right now that seems to be the biggest need with my students.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you said you have a small office size. So are you doing like groups of like 4 students or like how big are your groups?
Yeah, I think the most I do is 5. I tried 6 once and it was just too much.
Yeah, no, I agree. The smaller, the better. I think 4 or 5 is like the perfect amount.
Yeah.
I think I had one of like 7 before and that was a lot. But like you said, you can use the same curriculum, same activities, just different groups.
Yeah.
And then what about individual kiddos? Do you have a lot of those on your caseload too?
Yes, I have so many. Lots of students with anxiety and students who are having a hard time adjusting to things going on at home and school. Some students with anger. Yeah, I have a lot. We do have another program coming into our school to do some counseling that's going to start this coming week. They'll be there 2 days a week. And so it'll be interesting to see how we kind of divide up who they take and who I keep on my caseload.
Yes. So I had that as well. It's great, right? Like the more support, the better. But it was kind of tricky deciding who does what because they did individual counseling. So we even had some students I saw who saw me, but then saw them as well to do like more intensive, more like therapeutic type things because that was more of a service they provided. And then I did more of like the solution focused, and then we would communicate how we could support each other. But yeah, that's awesome that you have another resource coming in to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us, I want to talk to you about if you've had like something you did last semester that you just felt like went really well, like a good strategy or tip that you could share with the listeners.
Well, I think the biggest thing and what I've noticed is a lot of counselors, when they have such high caseloads, they tend to kind of skip out on tier 1 and only focus on groups and individual counseling. And I have made it kind of like my goal to really focus on tier 1 and make sure we're hitting all the classrooms every month. And I think that's super important because when I do that, the kids know me, they see me, and then they're going to be more open to talking to me if something does come up and they do need to come in for a group or individual, because then they're not talking to a stranger that they maybe don't want to open up to. So that's one thing that I'm super proud of with my program is that I've really prioritized that tier 1.
Yes, I love that. I think that's such a good reminder. And I mean, the tiers, like, the way they're visually laid out, that's like our biggest one. You're seeing the most students, and, it's intended to be prevention. So by seeing the kids in the class lesson level, maybe you end up getting less referrals down the road, because you're able to kind of like prevent some of those behaviors from happening that you would later get a referral for, like self-control or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love that. You should be so proud of the work you're doing, especially
Thank you.
years in. You're doing a lot of good work. Okay. I also want to chat. So you are one of our impact members, and you are like a longtime impact member. You've actually been a podcast guest before too. We'll have to link to your other episode. People might recognize your name and be like, I think I've heard from her before. But yeah, tell us about how you use the impact membership for your program.
Yeah, so I joined it when it first came out. And so I think that was like maybe like a year and a half ago. And so I was very early in my school counseling career, and the beginning of my career was all virtual. I think I was only on site for like 7 weeks before the pandemic hit. And so when we went back was about the time that Impact came out. And so I was just pretty much desperate for any help I could get, because it was hard going virtual. But then when we went back in person, I was like, well, I don't actually really know what to do in person, because it had all been virtual. So that was the main reason I joined, and to just collect all those resources to have on hand for the future, just to start building my library. And it's been super, super helpful to have those resources. And sometimes it has helped me plan out what I'm going to do in the coming month, or maybe I'm going to keep it aside for a different month. So it's just been helpful to kind of plan things and have things on hand when things pop up as well.
Yes, I love it. And I know you are one of our first members. So awesome. I'm so glad to hear that it was helpful for you in both virtual and in person. And have you had a chance to check out we've kind of restructured things over there, and Impact 2.0 is here, where now members get like unlimited access to all my 300 plus resources, instead of, I was just like selecting certain ones, which I loved doing that, but it was difficult because there were so many different counselors who had different needs. So what do you think of the change?
Yes, I am so excited about the change, because there were a few months where, because I love your resources, and so there had been some that I'd bought on TPT before Impact existed. And so there were a few months where I'd be kind of bummed. I'm like, oh, I already have that. Oh, I already have that too. It kind of became a joke with my husband. I would say, like, do you think there's going to be resources this month that I don't already have?
Oh my gosh.
So being able to access everything is going to be a total game changer. And I'm just super excited. So thank you for making that change.
Yes, no, that's exactly why. I felt bad because some people already had stuff, or someone like you who's been a longtime member, like maybe I would give some of my favorite resources like early 2021. And then now we have new people join, and I'm like, oh, well, I want them to have access to that resource too, but I had already given it away before. So it was kind of complicated. So now the solution was I was literally thinking like, what's best case scenario for a counselor? Like, what will make it easiest for a counselor? And that's if you need something, you log on, you find what you need, you download it, and you can use it right away. So I just tried to make it more simple and where you can access more things. So I'm so excited. I hope it definitely makes your semester easier this year.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And I really liked how you have it in different categories. So you can look on the tiers or category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can search by topic, season, tier, all those things.
Yeah, I really liked how there's different ways to look for things.
Yay! Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jessica. One more question. What advice would you give to a counselor who is just starting out?
I would say to make yourself visible and available to staff and to the students. One recommendation I got when I was in grad school and interning was to kind of stay away from the staff. And this has been the first year where I've like actually taken a lunch break in the lunchroom, and it has changed everything because now I have relationships with the teachers. So I would advise against the advice I got and say definitely try to make those relationships with teachers and the kiddos, because when, everyone's working together, you're going to have the best outcome.
Yes. No, I love that advice. I was kind of the same way my first couple of years, always eating lunch in my office and I don't know, feeling kind of like left out, or I didn't know what to say with the teachers, because they all worked together. And I was kind of doing my own thing. But like you said, collaboration, yeah, it's awesome. So you definitely need to put yourself out there, try to talk with the teachers, and they're usually super appreciative and willing to collaborate as well, in my experience.
Yeah, mine too.
That's so great. Awesome, Jessica. Well, have a great first day back tomorrow. I hope all your lessons and everything go well. And I'll talk to you soon on our next Impact Call.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to School Counseling Simplified. You can find the links from today's episode in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with Rachel, she's on Instagram and Teachers Pay Teachers at Bright Futures Counseling. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes of School Counseling Simplified. Talk to you next week.